So Cabot Phillips messaged me. Let's talk about it. Honestly, guys, he messaged me a few days ago. I don't look at my message requests very often, but I saw this last night and I was like, what are you doing here, Ariana? So I'm gonna read you the message he sent me and then I will read you my response. He said, you should ask your pal Candace why she hasn't made any statements about the photos she asked for, which I sent. She assured me that her tech team would review it and quickly determine its legitimacy. It's now been 14 hours and she hasn't said anything. Why do you think that is? Don't you think if it was proven to have been a fake, she'd be all over it? It's completely legitimate and she now knows this. The longer you try to discredit my alibi, the deeper of a hole you dig. I'm trying to help you. I will be honest, guys, I was surprised that he was messaging me of all people. From all the videos I saw after he put out his alibi, a lot of people were so focused on the magazines behind him, but only the Jaws magazine, because that one was like take down by August 22nd or whatever. It says over here, display until August 22nd of 2025.
Cabot Phillips wants Candace Owens to clear his name. After 14 hours, he starts catching a tantrum. Okay, let's keep in mind that Candace Owens contacted him before she even put that information out. Then she contacted him again after that, and again, with no response from him. And then after she puts it out, people left the open door for him. He came with his alibi whenever he chose for it to come. And then after, when he decides to respond to it, now he wants it to be gone immediately. It don't go like that, buddy. This is the reason why you give people the information before they can put it out so we don't have to go through this. However, the way he's moving makes it seem as if he just created the alibi, like he got the alibi, and now he wanted to be pushed. But at the moment, he didn't have the alibi. I don't see how somebody could be completely innocent and somebody say, hey, this looks mysterious. And somebody said they seen you at Fort Huachuca somewhere. And if the person got your number, they're close enough, right? So you'd be like, no, I wasn't there. I was here. He maybe seen somebody else. That could have solved everything. It would have ended it. For people to start moving like, I'm not saying nothing and just let it go. And then now when you're under fire, you think somebody's supposed to come immediately come save you quickly. I don't think it goes like that. And it's weird that he's talking to this woman like that because honestly, I've seen her video before and she was kind of defending him. And if you don't know, he took a picture by a register with some balloons, I guess for like a baby shower, his baby shower, which is like super duper weird to be just taking a random picture by a register. But let's just go with that. And that's his alibi because at that moment, he was basically home setting up for a baby shower or something like that. She actually defended him and was saying like, all right, just because the magazines say you don't display after a certain date, that don't mean that the stores is doing that. The store's not doing it. So I think it was pretty reasonable what she said. But the fact that he's going out there, he's contacting influencers instead of the Candace Owens type of thing, I find that to be kind of weird.
So people were like, oh, but this is supposed to be September 8th. But let's be for real, guys. Do you think all these grocery stores actually like update their magazines? I highly doubt it. I was one of the videos where I actually went through all the magazines. And then we have the Lucy magazine, and this was the August 2025 edition. But on Google, it does say display for sale until November 3rd. And then we have this People magazine behind him, but this was a September 1st edition. So this being behind him, it makes sense if it's September, obviously. And then there's this Beach Boys magazine. It's the one all the way on top, and it's the June edition. And if you zoom in, it's on display until September 19th. Like, I actually wasn't trying to discredit him. Honestly, was just really questioning, taking a photo in line at the grocery store because let's be honest, who does that, right? Okay, now let's get to my response. I told him, hi Cabot, thanks for reaching out. I'll definitely ask Candace about this because I too have been waiting for an update. For the record, unlike a lot of the videos out there, mine was one of the few actually that looked at all the magazines visible behind that one photo. In my video, I showed that nearly all of them line up with September 8th, except for that one outlier, the Jaws magazine. So I wasn't just fixating on it, I was laying out the full picture. And honestly, none of this would have needed to play out online if you just responded to Candace's original text message with those photos. She shared that she'd already reached out to you privately before going public. So if the info had been provided then, the whole situation could have been avoided. Just trying to be fair and make sure everyone has the full context here. But also, like, why are you messaging me? Why don't you text Candace and ask her? Like, hey, any update with the tech team?
Okay, so this is Beardgate. If you are following the Fort Huachuca story, there are so many twists and turns in this story. I honestly can't be making this stuff up. So what happened, if you guys didn't listen to our live yesterday, we went through everything. Mitch obviously believes that he saw Erica Kirk and Cabot Phillips at a hotel on Fort Huachuca base. And
let's keep in mind that Cabot Phillips is Erica Kirk's ex-boyfriend that she said that she wasn't dating nobody, but she lied. That's her ex-boyfriend. And he works for the Daily Wire. And not only does he work for the Daily Wire, he also is now working for TPUSA on behalf, doing something with Charlie Kirk, which is beyond weird, but yeah.
And this was on September 8th in the evening. He didn't accuse him of doing anything weird, just walking out of the hotel into a green pickup truck. Okay, so I obviously messaged Cabot Phillips. I've been trying to get a response from him, and I had noted that he was not seated in his typical chair over at the Morning Wire. It's a daily morning show that they have at the Daily Wire. And so he appeared to be on vacation, last appearance being on September 4th through to when Charlie Kirk gets assassinated. Here's what happens next, quite interestingly. So Brian Harpole gives a kind of non-alibi, wrong flights. Erica provides an alibi via Andrew Colvett to a YouTuber. Wrong day. It's September 9th. We're just like, can we get something solid? Well, Liz Wheeler jumps in out of nowhere this morning and she's like, gotcha, debunked, because you're saying he was seen on the 8th, but here you go. He's on the show, on his show on the 4th at the Daily Wire. And then here he is on the 8th as well, but he's actually not in studio. It's clearly some satellite thing. And I'm going to show you what she posted here as proof that he was, I guess, on the show on September 8th. Except the real glaring inaccuracy was the fact that she missed that Cabot Phillips had posted on X that following the 4th, in the evening on the 4th, he had completely shaved his beard off and was like, I'm only going to have a mustache for the next 3 weeks. I guess that's how long it takes him to grow his beard. Men say it takes like usually a month to grow your beard back, but she missed this. So take a look at what Cabot posted on the 4th before he went on vacation. Less than 4 days later, Cabot, for whatever reason, is on the Daily Wire joining Satellite, which is what Liz was referring to, on the morning of the 8th, and his full beard is back, which means that this segment was pre-recorded.
And then she worked so hard, whoever that was, to try to debunk somebody that you're not seeing exactly what happened. This shows you that these people are shilling for people for no apparent reason, but they just don't like Candace Owens. And they just want her to be wrong so bad. Because you cannot have a man that had a beard, then cut his beard, and then said he has a fully grown beard 4 days later. Again, that doesn't work like that. And then Candace Owens here gave a good alibi for him that whatever it was had to be pre-recorded, and they're probably just playing that after. So she's giving him the benefit of the doubt.
Earliest it could have been recorded was on the 4th. Making matters even more odd is that 2 days later on the 10th, he would be back on the Morning Wire and the beard's gone, starting to grow back, but still gone. So clearly the 8th was pre-recorded, and yet they felt the need to release it on the 8th, which is obviously the exact date that Mitch thinks that he saw Cabot in Arizona on Fort Huachuca base. I know that we have magic bullets in this story, but I draw the line at magic beards, okay? This is just not how beards grow. Again, this doesn't necessarily, we can't extrapolate that and be like, oh, well, this means he was definitely at Fort Huachuca. Obviously not. I reached out again to Cabot today, just trying to get some clarity on why they would record something on the 4th and then try to make it look like it was live on the 8th. There are 1,000 different reasons, like I've said from the beginning. First off, Daily Wire does normally pre-record everything, but it's usually pre-record and then release on the same day. And maybe he wanted to pre-record it because he was going on vacation. 1,000 different options here than to try to be like, oh, well, this means he was definitely at Fort Huachuca. But it is interesting that every time somebody moves to try to debunk something and is so over the top about it, it actually ends up showing us something else that maybe requires a little further examination. So
that's actually true. And then as you see, she didn't try to say, I got you. That's one reason why people like Candace, because she's not trying to make you fit inside the story. She's not purposely trying to look for somebody just to put them in that spot. She wants the story to play out in front of figure out who fits inside of it.
I will say it's becoming increasingly compelling, and maybe also a part of me is interested in this because I have found Ben Shapiro's behavior to be very over the top and strange. He's like personally invested in the story somehow. Could it be because Cabot Phillips was at Fort Huachuca? Maybe it's not, and it's just completely separate. But if you do know where Cabot Phillips was on the 8th, since we can't get an answer from him, please email us at moretips@CandaceOwens.com, because, like I said, we are actively trying to debunk Mitch. We are also out to Erica, and there has been some communication. We're working on trying to ascertain where she was as well. Hopefully we will know more, and maybe it's just a big nothing burger.
So Cabot Phillips so Candace Owens here is basically saying that Cabot Phillips did not answer her multiple times, but then he has the nerve to look for influencers that also actually was trying to help him in his alibi.